Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey, got another little issue on the CT3 today. The Kickstarter problem that we thought we had whooped. Well, unfortunately, it's not whooped. So we're going to have to reissue or get right back into that and revisit that. And I'm going to show you the deal with that. Today is November 13th, and I don't know whether the rest of you watch Itchy Boots or not. It's a young lady that travels by herself on a motorcycle all over the world. She finished her journey. Actually, she finished it back in August, but she brought out the ending of it today, and very good watch. Me and the wife just got through watching that, and we've been following her for probably close to a year. It's I think the first time I saw her was when she was in South Africa, and I think that was after she had started the trek from the southern tip of South America heading for Alaska. So I tell you, my hat is off to her. She is a very brave, adventurous person that goes places that as a young man I wouldn't have gone, not by myself. So my hat's off to her, and she's done a fabulous job. So anyway, enough of that. Give her a watch, Itchy Boots on YouTube. And I'm going to take you over and show you what the deal is with the Kickstarter on the CT3. Okay, it's kind of cold today. We've got more snow. Let's take a look outside. It's coming down. It just, we've been dealing with it for several days now, and doesn't look like it's going anywhere soon, going away soon. Dogs are liking it, except for when it gets too cold for them and they come in with their holding their feet up. So then I have to get them inside. Anyhow, I was out here the other night after I'd gotten most of this put together, and I just came by. I'll show you what I did on the CT1 here. I just pulled this back just like I did when I was showing you how this is supposed to spring back. And I pulled it back and let it go, and it moved up to here, up to the case again. And every time I did it, it got closer and closer to the case. And that is indicative of the shaft slipping on the there's a little boot tab on the end of it. I'll show you that in a minute. Anyhow, I saw that. I go, well, we're going to have to fix that. So we pulled everything back off, and just on this side, of course. And it's not a big issue on these. It's just that I don't like doing things twice. But I probably should have looked at that a little more careful. Let's go up to the bin. Okay, I've got a new one here. And this is the one that come out of it. And what it is this little tab on the end. It's the shaft is splined here, and it's pressed on, and that's supposed to hold it, but it doesn't. And what they've done, you can see the thickness here. They have added more material and a larger area for that to grip, and that was their fix. But the problem is this piece slips on there and causes the issue. Let me get you here set down and I'll show you what happens. Okay, what I'm going to do is get this bracket here held in the vise, and I'm holding that with my soft jaws so I don't really tear it up. And if I put the Kickstarter on here, and turn it so you can see it slipping. Slipping on, this is slipping on this shaft, and that's what causes the issue. So what we've got to do is, I'm going to put him a new one in because I've got some, and I had actually priced it out that way. When I found out that it wasn't the problem, or I thought it wasn't the problem, I thought that was a really good deal. I thought, well, maybe I can put him some sprockets on or something for that amount of money, but it's not going to happen. But anyhow, I've got it lined back up. What I normally do is I look at the holes here. Now on the old shaft you got a hole on both sides. Okay, on the new shaft you don't. It's just one side. So you just basically pick one hole or the other here on the old one and try to get the tab in the right place. Just turn it around until you get there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with the lathe, and we're going to cut down a little bit onto the shaft and into this tab, and then we'll take it over to the TIG welder and TIG that up. Like I said, I'm going to put him a new one in, but this one, these are getting tough to find and are sometimes expensive, so I'm going to fix it. So I'll have some laying around here that I can use. And I actually did just find 4 on eBay for, I couldn't believe it, about 15 bucks a piece, so I bought them. So you've kind of got to watch. Normally, I think the last time I bought I think this one here I probably paid $30 or $35 for. So whenever you can find them at a reasonable price, I would, if you're a Yamaha owner, I would pick one up, have an extra laying around. And there's a lot of them on there, but there's a lot of them on there at too much money. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to fix this one, and then we're going to put him back together. Okay, we're over to the lathe, and I've got the shaft chucked up in here. I've got this located where I want it, and I just need to cut a little bit out down, and I'd like to cut both the shaft area and this bracket area out here. And I've never tried it this way, but I'm going to try it. I've got a cutoff tool in here, and that's what I'm proposing to try, because it's real tight in there. I kind of got to get up between everything, and that's where I'm going to want to cut. And I think I need to get some more light. Let me see what I can do here. There, I think that's better. And this, I'm going to try to stay away from this part of the shaft and just go up here and cut in just a little bit of that. Like I say, I haven't tried this tool before, but it is it kind of looks like that's what I need to do, but it may not work. You just never know. So let's see what we've got here. I'm just going to take it in a little bit and try it. Excuse me. I just need a place to be able to get some weld. It is hard, but it's not terrible hard. Okay, I think that might be good. I just gives me a little space to lay some weld in there, and hopefully I can stay away from this shaft, and the bottom I can come back in here and trim up if I need to, but I just don't want to get into this part of the shaft. So that's our next thing, is to get that over and try to lay some weld in there. Okay, we'll see how this goes. A lot of oil down in the spline area. I cleaned this very good with acetone, but I think that more oil is going to be brought to the surface, so we'll just have to see. Try to get a couple spots on it first. Yeah, it's bringing a little up, but not much I can do about it. Just try to keep it cleaned up as I go. It's staying pretty dry. take it back over to the lathe after it cools off and trim up that area flush again. Okay, there's our repair as far as the welding part goes. Looks like I did pretty good staying out of the shaft area. This is the main part. This was kind of undercut down lower, so it's a little more forgiving. Our goal now is just to make sure this is flat so it doesn't dig into the aluminum. It doesn't have to be, you know, some of this weld is going to be recessed. That's okay, as long as this out here is nice and flat. So that's where we're going next. Hopefully that's enough light. I think we're about where I need to be there. I don't think there's a lot to cut off there, but got to be kind of careful of that piece that's swinging around there. You don't want to come out too far and get into that thing. Take a look at it here in a minute and see where we're at. I think we're pretty good. Yeah, I'd say we're, let me get a scribe and so I can just kind of push on that a little bit. If I can find one. I just want to see if it catches. Yeah, it does a little bit. Yeah, so I need to go a little bit more. I think we're good. Everything's looking pretty good there. I just take a little file and just kind of clean up around there, make sure I don't have any little weld BBs or something like that. But that's good repair. And that's what we're going to have to start doing to them as the shafts dry up. You know, that's just going to be our only option. And it doesn't have to be flush here. It just needs to be flat so that it doesn't chew into the aluminum surface back there. So we'll take it over to the bike and let you look at it there. Okay, as you can see, this the boss that's around where the Kickstarter goes is pretty big, so it's a little void in between here is not going to matter to anything. This is just, it's going to be in there just like that. And see, you can see where this, I showed you this when I was first putting it together. That's the start of these things when they slip. I should have heated that and took care of it at the time. I should have looked at that a little better and see if that was actually spinning on there, but it didn't look like it was. But this should be good. That's a good repair. Okay, one other thing that we need to take a look at here that I just noticed when I took it back apart is that there is a shim missing right here. There's supposed to be a 1mm washer between this plastic gear and the case. And I'll take you over there and show it to you in the book. And since I don't have one, we're going to have to make one. Okay, this is the old book here. And this number 4 is the one we're looking for. And the good thing about the book is if you go over to item 4 here, it tells me it's a shim, and it tells me exactly the size of it. It's 10.2 millimeters, the hole is, by 16 millimeters on the OD, by 1 millimeter thick. Now the present book that you look at online, I don't know how this is going to show up, but see, it still shows the washer, and it gives the part number for the shim there. And let's see if, I don't know whether it's going to show us. No, see, it doesn't give you the size here. It just gives you the part number. And that's what's good about the book, is that on almost all the shims, if you've got the book, you can build a spacer if you've got a lathe. And there's a lot of that stuff that is left out by people. Hell, I just left it out, you know. Went back in there. Actually, I thought about it last night, and I thought, you know, I think there's supposed to be a washer there. And I'd already determined that I was going to have to pull it back apart because of the Kickstarter, but I just wanted to go ahead and make sure that got in there. But I wanted to make sure that it showed up in the old book and on the new book. And it does. So off to build one. All right, guys, I've got a piece of cold roll here. It's 5/8, and that's about as close as I can come. So 16 millimeters OD is what they're going on. This is going to turn out to be 1585. Shouldn't be a problem. And for the ID of 10.2 millimeters, the best I can do is a 13/32 at 10.24. That should be no problem. And of course, 1 millimeter thick, also no problem. So let's get started on this. We don't have to do anything to the outside, and we'll just we'll drill a hole in the middle of it, get our 1024, and then we'll cut it off to to our 1 millimeter. And put that in quite a ways, because really all we've got to do is cut it off. Okay, let's get you here where you can see what's happening, hopefully. And first thing we've got to do is take a facing cut just to true up the end here. Okay, so there's that. Let me get set up for a hole drilling here. Okay, we'll start with a center drill here. Just so we don't end up wobbling around here very much. Get us pretty straight. Okay, should be good. All right, let's make that hole a little bigger. Yeah, that ought to be enough. All right, let's clean up the outside and the inside there. Should be good. Okay, I'm going to zero out my DRO, and I'm going to put a little stick-it note in here and run this up until I just can't pull it out, until it grabs it. Okay, right there. That paper is 4 thousandths thick, so I'll advance my DRO. I think you can see that. Four thousandths. So that should be right on the well, it's off a little bit, not much. Good enough, I think, for what we're doing. Okay, now let's see. Let me pull this out down here. Okay, I'm going to zero that again and pull out. And then my bit is, I believe it's 87 or something like that. Let me get you out of the way here just a minute. You got to take that into consideration. $87 thousandths. Okay. Okay. 87 thousandths is 2.21 millimeters. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm not sure you can see that. Let me get you a little closer. Okay, this is the one we're watching right here. I'm going to move that up 2.21 millimeters. Oops, I've got to go back to 0 and change it to millimeters. Okay. Okay, I think that's close enough. Okay, that's the thickness of our cutoff tool. Now we need to go 1 millimeter more. Right there. And that's where I'll lock my slide, and this is where we ended up. So whatever's left from our cut here will be our 1 millimeter thick washer. Okay, we're all locked up here, so let's get ready to cut her off. Okay, I'm going to run up this little wire here so that I don't have to chase that shim. Okay, there's our shim. Okay, let's see how we did here. 0. .06 millimeters. Good enough for the girls I go with. So there's our shim. Okay, back over to the bike, and that's where that's going to go, right there. So if you're missing one, you need one there. Okay, so we're ready to button this back up. I'm not going to take you through all that. You've already seen it all and more. You know, we did all the adjustments and everything too. So I think that's about all we'll cover today. Okay guys, that's kind of it for the day. I think you can see kind of the importance. Now I'm not sure about, I am about Suzuki, but not about Kawasaki. I just haven't done enough of them yet. But the old books, usually you can come by them pretty reasonable, especially the parts list, not necessarily the maintenance manual. But you know, I think I gave $10 or 15 or something for this one, probably 2 years ago, and you can still find them on there pretty reasonable. I wouldn't pay a lot for them, but if you can see that they have some value over the what you find on the internet, but you kind of need both. Like I explained before about the washers here, the washers, the bushing and the orientation, it shows the same in both. There's just a lot of things that are, they show you a lot of good information. And like I say, these thrust bearings and stuff, see here's one, number 3, that's that one right there. If you go to over here, plate, thrust, right hand, it tells you it's 20 ID by 38 OD by 2 millimeters thick. So there's a lot of information that you'll find in these old books that you won't find online, and they probably made it that way on purpose. Back in the day, they knew that information was valuable, and nowadays with the internet, they may want to limit some of that information, so they just don't have it there anymore. So I use both, but if I had to, well, if I had to select one or the other, I'd want the book. But there is value in this too, because it'll tell me whether or not later on down the road they decided, hey, that bushing isn't necessary, or it ought to be turned around, or maybe we need to make a thrust washer thicker. All those things. So there's value in all kinds of information, and as we all know, that since the internet age, there's a lot of information out there, and it's just there for the picking. But there's also a lot of stuff that's just crap too. You know, a lot of the forums, I read through a lot of them. A lot of them are, you know, there's a lot of untruths in a lot of that stuff. And I sit back and I think, you know, I can't believe somebody's telling somebody to do this. And I rarely interject anything on these sites. Sometimes I do, and usually I end up getting beat up real bad about something. But if I put it on there, I know it's right, or it's the best to my ability. But it's there's just a lot of stuff on there that's just crap. So be careful of what you believe, what you see. Do your homework, check in other places. Okay guys, that's about it for the day. You know, the information, like I was talking about, just be careful with it. You know, most people really mean well, and I do too, but I make mistakes, they make mistakes. So just be careful. You know, try to ask from a couple different sources, or read from different sources, and see if you get the same answer from all the sources. If you do, then you know you're probably right on. But just be careful with some of that stuff. I'm real careful with what I put out, you know, the alternate parts that I put out and whatnot. I want to make sure that they fit or look good to me before I tell you about them, because I just want you to have the best information that I can give you. But that's about as far as we can go on this project today. I'll go ahead and button that back up. We've got all the right parts in there now. We've got good parts. I should have looked at that Kickstarter a little closer. I should have put it in the vise. I should have spun it just like I showed you. But you know, that one's on me. I just assumed that everything was right because I didn't see a lot of carnage in the case. Usually where that lever comes up, it comes in more into the case than that one was doing. So that's what drove me to think that, say, hey, somebody just didn't wind the spring enough. But it caught me, and it'll catch you too, so be careful. Hey, you know, I haven't asked for a long time, and my channel has been doing really good as far as subscribers and everything. But I do ask, if you're watching, if you would, I would certainly appreciate a subscription and a thumbs up if you like the content. We've got new stuff. I think I've put up 3 or 4 videos this week. I try to get at least one, and this week I had a lot going on, and I've got something really cool coming up. So if you're into twin cylinder Yamahas, you may like this. So just kind of, you know, hit the notification bell, and when I get something back up, you'll be the first to get it. So hey, thanks for going along on the ride, and we'll see you next video.